Whenever adultery goes unchecked in the church, along with other sins, but specifically I'm talking about adultery, it causes confusion. And not only does the individuals that committed the sin of adultery, but the pastors and the church becomes compromised.
This came down my timeline on TikTok and I want to discuss it with you because I know a lot of women that are also on that app talk about what infidelity looks like in their marriage. And some of them feel like the church didn't take up for them. The church took up for their husband. And a lot of them feel like they were guilted into staying in the marriage even though they wanted to leave due to the infidelity.
Part of what the church does that feeds the problem,
Yes.
is that one person has committed adultery. The other is hurt. They're looking for help. Then you invalidate the pain of the person.
Of the hurting part.
Yes, you invalidate it, and then you put pressure on the hurting one to keep the marriage together, and you are asking nothing of the one who broke the vows.
My God.
Forgive, stay. And for the woman, they'll tell her, intercede for him, give him more sex, submit some more. And I'm asking, what are you asking of the man who broke the vows? Nothing.
No,
you are not insisting that he should go for counseling, go to rehab, he should do restitution. You are not asking him to come home earlier. You are not giving him boundaries. You just leave him, and then he steps out to the next person. And you are still telling the victim to fix what they didn't break.
The tea is exceptionally good today.
To fix what they didn't.
Yeah, this is part of what the church does. And sir, I'm sorry to say, in my experience, that's exactly what happened. All eyes were on me to make sure the marriage stayed. But what were you demanding of the one who created the problem? Nothing.
Nobody holds him accountable.
I don't know why.
No, but Mama, how am I going to handle that? He's one of our pastors, and he's so graced. The hand of God is upon his life. No, what I'm saying is that God is using him mightily.
Papa, let me interrupt you.
I want to stop the video for fair use and have you to look up 1 Peter 3:7. It reminds the husbands that if they don't treat their wives with respect and honor them, then their prayers will be hindered. So before he gets into what he's a pastor, well, pastors should know the scriptures and they should know how to treat their wives.
Let me name, no, I will name names because I want you to get this. One of the men I respected in this country deeply was Pastor Ezekiel Atang of blessed memory.
Yes.
From God's House of Refuge, Uyo.
Yes.
Pastor Ezekiel had a man exactly like what you are describing. A pastor, anointed. He said, if I want anything done in church and I want it done well, that's him. He said, but Reverend Christie, this man's sexual depravity is scary. He said, the things I've heard have disturbed my soul. He said, people have said to me, kick him out of the church. But I'm looking at this man who loves God and has this conflict. See, because Romans chapter 7, Paul was capturing the conflict of the believer who is a Christian but is struggling.
Yes.
It's okay. We don't have a problem with that. What we have a problem with is, you know there's a problem, but you're not doing anything about it. You want us to leave you to continue living like a pig in the pit. We can't do that in the church. If you have been in the church for 5 months, God's soap is supposed to have washed you by now.
Hey. Sorry.
You cannot continue to be dirty in the house. The soap is available. The water is available. What are you doing? Where are you standing that the soap is not reaching you? Do you understand, sir? So this man said, no. I prayed and God said, don't throw him away. He called me, Reverend Christie, can you help? I said, send him to me. The man came. Sir, he came to our rehab. He stayed there. He broke. And he surrendered to God. No, sir, don't tell me he's a man of God. He's powerful. He should be accountable.
So let me throw a disclaimer out there. My marriage is fine. I saw this information on TikTok a while ago. It came back down my timeline and I wanted to discuss it with you. This woman who's sitting down speaking to this gentleman, she made a lot of great points. And it's not really much that I can add to it. I think that more leaders in the church need to have men be accountable for their actions instead of putting all of the onus on women. It's like the infidelity is swept under the rug. Now, I have not been a victim of this, but again, listening to women on social media, I can understand why they feel like the men are not being held accountable. Now, I know there are two sides to a story, but when you have a lot of women coming out about this, and then even some pastors that are speaking on this situation, that just tells me that bad pastors in the pulpit are not holding these men accountable, and they should. It also makes me feel like those pastors are doing a little something themselves, which is why they don't want to hold those men accountable. But that's just my opinion, okay? I can't say what anybody is doing factually. I'm simply saying that if we're going to talk about scripture in the Bible, then we have to apply it to the area where it may feel uncomfortable for us. And that means if your buddy in church, if your deacon or whoever is having an affair and he gets caught up, then that scripture should be brought out because it applies to him. The Lord wants men to honor their wives and respect them. Love your wife as Christ loved the church. Your prayers will not be answered if you dishonor your wife. I talked about that. So why is it that so many women feel like they are not being honored? And not only not being honored, but then being cheated on. That's a true conversation that the church needs to have more often than not. But I want you to tell me your thoughts in the comments below, because that's what I'm here for.